So first మనం C language చూసే ముందు we'll see the introduction part first. So generally what is the software? Why we use software? What does software consist of? ఏముంటుంది సాఫ్ట్వేర్లో? డెవలప్ చేయడానికి వెబ్సైట్ డెవలప్ చేయడానికి సాఫ్ట్వేర్ వాడతాము. ఓకే, ఇంకా సో సాఫ్ట్వేర్లో ఏముంటుంది? వాట్ డస్ ద సాఫ్ట్వేర్ కన్సిస్ట్ ఆఫ్? సో జనరలీ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఏ collection of programs. If you collect some programs and put together, it will create a software. Anamata. Then what is a program consists of? If you collect programs, it will become software. Then what does a program consist of? A program consists of set of instructions. అంటే some lines of code అనేది ఉంటుంది. దాన్ని set of instructions అంటారు. Set of instructions is nothing but a program. What is meant by instruction? What does instruction consist of? Instruction is nothing but a single line of code which when executed performs certain task or work. ఒక సింగిల్ లైన్, ఆ లైన్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అయినప్పుడు మనకి ఏదో ఒక వర్క్ అనేది ఏదో ఒక టాస్క్ అనేది జరుగుతుంది. అలాంటి లైన్స్ అన్నిటిని కలిపితే యూ విల్ గెట్ ఏ ప్రోగ్రామ్. ఇఫ్ యూ కలెక్ట్ ద ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఇట్ విల్ బికమ్ ఏ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ అన్నమాట. నౌ వీ కెన్ డివైడ్ బేసికలీ ద సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇంటూ టూ టైప్స్. Two types. One is application software. Second one is system software. Application software అంటే యూజర్ యూజ్ చేసే సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్, యూజర్ వర్క్ చేసే సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్, అంటే యూజర్ దాంట్లో వర్క్ చేస్తాడు. అలా వర్క్ చేసే సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్ అన్నిటిని అప్లికేషన్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్ అంటారు. లైక్ ఎంఎస్ ఆఫీస్. ఇప్పుడు ఎంఎస్ ఆఫీస్లో ఏం చేస్తాడు? వాడు వర్క్ చేసుకుంటాడు. పెయింట్ ఏం చేస్తాడు? దాంట్లో వర్క్ చేస్తాడు. సో ఎనీ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ వేర్ ద యూజర్ వర్క్స్, దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ అప్లికేషన్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్. సో సింపుల్గా చెప్పాలంటే యూజర్ వర్క్ చేసే సాఫ్ట్వేర్, వేర్ ద యూజర్ వర్క్స్ అన్నమాట. ఎగ్జాంపుల్ యూ కెన్ టేక్ ఎంఎస్ ఆఫీస్, ఎనీథింగ్, పెయింట్, ఎనీథింగ్ వేర్ యూ వర్క్. కమింగ్ టు సిస్టమ్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ అంటే ఏంటి? సిస్టమ్ రన్ అవ్వడానికి కోసం, సిస్టమ్ సపోర్ట్ చేయడానికి కోసం వర్క్ అయ్యే సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్ అనమాట. వాటిని సిస్టమ్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్ అంటారు. సో దే ఆర్ యూజ్డ్ టు మెయింటైన్ ఆర్ సపోర్ట్ ద వర్కింగ్ ఆఫ్ ద సిస్టమ్. సో వాట్ ఆర్ దోస్? ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్. ఇప్పుడు ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ అనేది సిస్టమ్ రన్ అవ్వడానికి యూజ్ చేస్తాం. ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ అనేది కూడా ఒక సాఫ్ట్వేరే. వై వీ యూజ్ దట్? టు మేక్ ద వెబ్సైట్ ఆర్ టు మేక్ ద సిస్టమ్ రన్ అనమాట. ప్రతి సిస్టంలో ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ఉంటేనే ఆ సిస్టమ్ రన్ అవుతుంది. సో ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ అంటే విండోస్ 7, విండోస్ 8, విండోస్ 10, విండోస్ 11 ఏదైనా ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్స్ అవన్నీ. నెక్స్ట్ యాంటీవైరస్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్. వై వీ యూజ్ యాంటీవైరస్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్? టు మేక్ ద సిస్టమ్ ప్రొటెక్ట్ అనమాట. సో వీటిలన్నింటినీ సిస్టమ్ సపోర్ట్ కోసం, సిస్టమ్ రన్ అవ్వడానికి కోసం మనం యూజ్ చేసే సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్ అనమాట. C language, not C++. సో ఇది అప్లికేషన్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్, సిస్టమ్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్, రెండింటికి ఉన్న డిఫరెన్సెస్ అనమాట. నెక్స్ట్ కమింగ్ టు నెక్స్ట్ పార్ట్ ఈజ్ వాట్ ఈజ్ ఎ లాంగ్వేజ్ ఆర్ వై వీ యూజ్ ఎ లాంగ్వేజ్. సో వై వీ యూజ్ ఎనీ లాంగ్వేజ్? ఐఎమ్ స్పీకింగ్ ఇన్ వన్ లాంగ్వేజ్, యు ఆర్ ఏబుల్ టు ఫాలో, మీన్స్ దెర్ ఈస్ సమ్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ బిట్వీన్ యూ అండ్ మీ. సో జనరలీ వై వీ యూజ్ లాంగ్వేజ్? Language acts as a medium for communication. So if you want to communicate with one another, we need a language. We need a language to communicate. So according to the programming terminology, we can divide the languages into three types. One is low level language, first one. సెకండ్ వన్ వచ్చేసి హై లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్. థర్డ్ వన్ వచ్చేసి మిడిల్ లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్. సో లో లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ షార్ట్కట్లో LLL అని అంటాం. ఓకే, సో లో లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ ఇస్ నథింగ్ బట్ ద లాంగ్వేజ్ విచ్ ఈజ్ అండర్స్టాండబుల్ ఆర్ అండర్స్టాండ్ బై ఓన్లీ మెషిన్. సిస్టమ్కి మాత్రమే అర్థమయ్యే లాంగ్వేజ్. ద లాంగ్వేజ్ విచ్ కెన్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ఓన్లీ బై ద సిస్టమ్. System can understand what? Only zeros and ones. So that is called binary language. We call it as what? So binary language is called as low level language. So the language which can be understand by the system, okay, is called low level language. So system can understand what? Only zeros and ones. So that zeros and ones is called as binary language. We call it as what? Binary language. This is about low level language. Next, coming to the high level language. The next, second one, HLL. So high level language which the user can understand or which we can understand. అంటే మనకు అర్థమయ్యే లాంగ్వేజ్, మనం అర్థం చేసుకోగలిగే లాంగ్వేజ్. సో ద లాంగ్వేజ్ విచ్ యూజర్ కెన్ అండర్స్టాండ్. సో అలాంటి లాంగ్వేజ్ని హై లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ అంటారు. సో జనరలీ we write the program in English language only. So English is our language for communication. Next, middle level language. So middle level language ఏంటంటే which can understand both high level language as well as low level language. అంటే మిడిల్ లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ అనేది హై లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్లో రాసిన కోడ్ని అర్థం చేసుకోగలుగుతుంది, లో లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ కోడ్ని అర్థం, అంటే రెండింటితోనూ కమ్యూనికేట్ చేయగలుగుతుంది. దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ మిడిల్ లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్. సో ద లాంగ్వేజ్ విచ్ కెన్ communicate or which can understand both LLL and HLL, okay, వాటినే మిడిల్ లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్. దాన్నే అసెంబ్లీ లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ అని కూడా అంటాం. ఓకే, సో ఎగ్జాంపుల్, సి ఈజ్ ఏ మిడిల్ లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్. సి ఈజ్ ఏ మిడిల్ లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్. వై సి ఈజ్ ఏ మిడిల్ లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్? ఎందుకంటే సి లాంగ్వేజ్లో మనం రాసే ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ అన్ని హై లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్లోనే రాస్తాం. వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు రైట్ ద ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఇన్ హై లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ ఓన్లీ. బట్ that finally that high level language program will be converted into machine language only, and again the output is going to show in high level language only for us, but internally the code whatever we are writing, it will be converted into machine code. Okay, so basically C is a software, or C software can understand both high level and low level because it can interact with both. So this is about languages and different types of languages we are having. సో ఇప్పుడు హై లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ నుంచి లో లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్కి కన్వర్ట్ చేయాలంటే వీ నీడ్ ఏ సాఫ్ట్వేర్. వీ నీడ్ ఏ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ టు కన్వర్ట్. ఐ హ్యావ్ హై లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ కోడ్ దట్ షుడ్, ఐ హ్యావ్ ఏ లో లెవెల్, ఆర్ ఐ హ్యావ్ ఏ లో లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ కోడ్ విచ్ షుడ్ బి కన్వర్ట్ ఇంటూ హై లెవెల్. సో ఐ నీడ్ టు కన్వర్ట్ హియర్ టు హియర్ అండ్ దేర్ టు హియర్, రెండు సైడ్లు కమ్యూనికేట్ చేయాలి, కన్వర్ట్ చేయాలి కోడ్ని. చేయాలంటే మనకు సాఫ్ట్వేర్ కావాలి. సో దాన్నే మనం ప్రీ ప్రాసెసర్ అంటాం. ఏమంటాం మనం? సో ప్రీ ప్రాసెసర్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఎందుకు యూజ్ చేస్తాం? ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ which is used to convert low level language into high level or vice versa. Means reverse kuda cheyochu, ante high level nunchi low level ki leda low level nunchi high level. So both sides we can convert. This preprocessor softwares are of two types. How many types? Two types. First one is compilers or compiler లేదా కంపైలర్స్. సో కంపైలర్స్ ఏం చేస్తుంది? మన రాసిన హై లెవెల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ కోడ్ని లో లెవెల్కి కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తుంది. ఎలా కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తుంది అంటే రాసిన టోటల్ కోడ్ ఒకటేసారి కన్వర్ట్ అయిపోతుంది. రాసిన టోటల్ కోడ్ ఒకటేసారి. ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నా దగ్గర 50 lines కోడ్ ఉంది. ఐ హ్యావ్ 50 lines కోడ్. ఐ ఆమ్ యూజింగ్ కంపైలర్ టు రన్ దట్ కోడ్. వాట్ ద కంపైలర్ విల్ డూ? It will convert the 50 lines of code into machine code at a time. At a time it will be converted, and any errors are there, all errors will display. For example, I have 3 errors: 5th line, 15th line, 21st line. In these 3 lines I have errors. All 3 lines errors will be displayed if I use compilers. Okay. Second thing we have is interpreters. What is the second software we have? This is also can convert high level language to low level or low level to high level. But what the interpreter will work, how it will work means, it can convert the code line by line only. Line by line execution or step by step execution we call it as. Whereas in compilers, total code at a time. In interpreters, line by line. Here in compilers, we can see all the 3 errors at a time, whatever the errors we have. But here, we can see only 1 error. We can see, because it is running line by line, it can show only 1 error only. fifth line error is there. It will show only fifth line error only. Because the program will not go beyond the fifth line. Because there is error. So that means whenever there is error, it cannot go beyond that error line. It will stop there only. When you rectify that error, next it will show the next error. Like that, if you rectify all errors, you will get the output. That is the difference between compilers and interpreters. So C language is a compiler based language. C language is a, so any programming language, not only C, C, C++, Java, .NET, everything uses compilers only. Uses what? Then who uses interpreters? Scripting languages. Which language use? Like Python. Python works on interpreter, not on compiler. Because Python is not a programming language, it is a scripting language. Okay? JavaScript, PHP, these languages, Ruby, these languages all uses interpreters. Uses what? But any programming languages, generally they use compilers. They use what? Compilers. So now, what are the points we can write in the compiler? Runs the total code at a time. Second point, displays all errors at a time. That is the second point. Okay? Example, you can take any programming language like C, C++, Java, you can take. Coming to interpreters, line by line or step by step, we call it as execution of the code. Since it is line by line, we can see only one error. We can see only one error at a time. Okay, not more than one error. Why? Program execution stops there only. Program execution stops there only whenever we get error. Whenever we get an error. So it cannot go beyond that. It will stop there only. Whenever you get error, stop. Okay. Example, you can take any scripting language like JavaScript, PHP, Python. These are some of the examples. Okay. So these are the basic points you need to know before going to the C software. Okay. Before going to the C language introduction or anything, these are the general basic points you need to know. Okay. So I'll just save this as introduction. So in our folder I am saving. So what is program, what is instruction, what is software, what are different types of softwares, different types of languages, and what are the softwares we use to convert the code. These things we have seen till now. Next, we need to see the C introduction. Now we'll go to the actual our C language introduction part. So I'll take a new file again. I'll save it as C language intro. So first in C language introduction, we'll see the history of C language first. History of C. So C language was 1972. In the year which year? 1972. Who invented? Did you know who invented C? No? Dennis Ritchie. So Dennis Ritchie is the person. He invented C. In which year? 1972. Where? AT&T Bell Laboratories. That is the place he used to work. He invented that language. Okay. So this is C language. But C language, before that C language, there is another language. From that language, he has taken the concepts and he has created the language. What is that language? In 1970, so I'll just make it, we have C, in C, 1972. Before C, there is a language called B, B language, which was created or invented by Ken Thompson person. Okay? Same, he used to also work in that laboratory only. So this C language concepts are almost all taken from this B language only. Almost all C and B are almost 80 to 85% they are same. Some new features they have added in the C, which is not there in B. What are that I will also explain, no problem. Before this B language, in 1968, there used to be a language called BCPL. From that language, the B language has come. So BCPL stands for Basic Combined Programming Language. Basic Combined Programming Language. That is a full form. Before that, Basic 62, there is a language called CPL. Only CPL means Combined Programming Language. So before this, in 1960, we have Algol. I have what? Algol. So Algol is the father of all programming language. Any programming language, indirectly or directly, will link to that Algol only last. So from Algol, first CPL language has came. From that, BCPL language has came. From that, B language. From that, C language. This is the hierarchy. You can take from down to bottom. Okay. Now, what are the differences between C and B languages? That is the next important question they can ask in interview, any interview. Okay. What is the difference between C and B? Almost all they are same, but there is some difference. What is the difference you need to tell is, if you have developed any software using B, only one user, and if another using some other place, this user will be log outed. Means only one software at a time. Multi-user support is not there. Okay, that is the one problem. And execution time also very more. Executing the code or running the program is also very large time it will take. To overcome this, they introduce C. So in C supports multi-user. So you can work here in the same software, I can work from some other place, same software. Okay? And execution of the code also very less when compared to B. That's why still there are some problems with C language which you will overcome in Java or any other higher languages. Okay? But at that time, that is the best language they have to develop any software. Where they used to use C language, applications, ATM machines. Earlier days they used to use C language only. Okay? Now, no one is using this C. They use any Python or any other language they use in the lift applications or ATM machines nowadays. Okay? But earlier days ATM machines, they used to use C language or lift working, how the lift will work. All this coding will be using embedded systems and C language. Both they together they used to use. Okay? So now what are the differences I can say? The software developed using C supports multi-user. Supports? The software developed using B supports single user only. Okay? That is the main difference. Okay? And another thing, it is more time execute, it will take less time. But this is the main point you need to tell. Okay? So this is the history of C language. Next, coming to the features of C, or we also call it as characteristics of C. Features of C or characteristics of C language. The first important feature of C language is easy to learn. Why it is easy to learn? Because everything will write in high level language. We don't write any code in low level. We'll write everything, the code whatever we are writing in C language is in high level language only. So that is why it is easy to learn language, because it is in English language only, which we can understand. So easy to learn. Second point, it is a compiler based language. Compiler based language. So no need for explanation of compiler based language means what? Because I already explained that. Compiler based language is every code will run at a time, total code every time. So in C language, whatever the code you have written will run at a time. All errors will show at a time. So C is a compiler based language. Next, C is a structure based language. C is a what? Structure based language. What is meant by structure based language? In C language, every program we need to follow some predefined structure. Predefined structure which they have declared, which they have created. Whoever developed the C language, they said you need to follow this structure to write the code. Then only it will work. So every program will follow one predefined structure. So what is that structure? I will show you now. Okay. So every C program follows some predefined format or predefined structure. That's why it is called structure based language. Next, fourth one, it is a function based language. Function based. So if you want to do anything in C, we use functions. We use predefined functions which are already declared. So everything depends on functions only. So it's a function based language. So what is the meaning of these two? We'll see in detail by seeing the structure. So the next thing we need to see is the structure of C program. Structure of C or C program. So in every C program starts with first header files. Starts with what? How the header files will look? Hash include stdio.h hash include conio.h. So these are the two header files we are going to write in every program. Why we will write? Why we should write? We will see everything, no problem. Don't bother. I am just writing the structure first. Then we will write void main. So this void main is a function. Void main is a, in that function only we will write every code. Entire program code is going to write in that only. Since we are writing entire code inside a function only, it is called function based language. It is called as what? Inside that we will write CLR, SCR, then some code, some code you can write, okay. At last we will write getch. So whatever the code you are seeing now, this is the minimum code you are going to write in every program. We are going to write in every program. Now we will see individually what is the use of them, okay. In the structure, the first thing we have is these two, hash include, hash include. So these two are called as header files. We call it as what? What is a header files? What is the use of those two header files? We will see. So first we have in the structure is header files. So we can simply say header files are nothing but predefined library files. Predefined library files. In that library files, some functions are already stored. If I want to use that function, I need to include them. I need to include them in the program. If without including the library file, I cannot use the functions in that library file. So simple thing, predefined library files. Predefined library files which contains some predefined functions. Some predefined functions. If we want to use any function in the program without including the header file, we cannot use the function. I want to use some function. Where is that? It will be stored in some library file. Without using that library file, I cannot use that function. That's why I am going to use these two header files compulsory. What these two will contain, we will see now. If you see the general syntax of any header file, hash include will be common, greater than less than symbol will be common. In that less than greater than symbol, we will write the name of the file, name of the header file. We can call header file name. Header file, the header file name followed by .h, followed by header files will be in .h format. See, .h, everything. Here stdio is the name, conio is the name, like that. So header file name. So this is the general syntax we are going to follow for any header files. Now the first header file, important header file which we use in every program is hash include stdio.h, means standard input output header file. That is the meaning of that one. Standard stdio means what? Standard input output. Standard input output header file. What is the standard input device? Keyboard. What is the standard output device? Monitor or screen. Okay. So if you want to take any input from the keyboard, or if you want to display anything on the screen, we need to use this header file. We need to use that. Simple meaning. Standard input keyboard, standard output screen or monitor. Laptop screen, or monitor screen. Okay. So if you want to take any input from keyboard, or if you want to print anything on the screen, we use some functions. That functions are stored in where? This header file. So what are that functions? Printf, scanf. Those two functions, one is for printing, one is for reading. How to use them, we will see detail in the next classes, coming classes. Don't bother about that. Just remember, these are the two functions which are stored in this one. So in C program, at least one printf we use compulsory. At least one printf compulsory we use. So to run that printf without header file, it cannot run. So compulsory we include that one. That is the reason we need to use that one. So in this stdio.h, we have printf, scanf functions. Printf is the output function, scanf is the reading function. Okay. To read data we use this, to print data we use this. So without this printf, there is no C program at all. At least one printf we will write compulsory. To work that, we need to include compulsory. Second header file, hash include conio.h. Conio.h. Conio.h means console input output header file. Console input output header file. That is the full form of header file. In this header file, we have two functions, clr, scr, get ch. So these two functions are present in this header file. clr, scr function and get ch function. These two are present in where? That header file. These two also we use compulsory in every C program. See, in C structure also, we have that clr, scr, we have that get ch. So why we use these two functions means, clr, scr is used to clear the output screen. Clear the output screen. Clear the output screen. Means whatever the output you are printing, if you run the program again, the previous output will be cleared and everything you will get a fresh output. You will get everything. To make the screen disappear, the previous output disappear, we will use this function. clr, clear screen function. Where it will be? In this header file. To use this, we need to include that. Similarly, get ch. Why we use get ch? To get the output screen. To get the output screen. When you run the program, you should get the output, right? How you will get the output screen? When you have get ch, you will get the output screen. To get the output screen automatically when we run the program. So when you run the program, to get that output screen automatically, we should use get ch. If you don't use get ch, you cannot see the output automatically. We need to press separate button or separate option to see the output. But I don't want like that. Run output direct. I don't want to use intermediate any other step. Run, you should get output. Then we should use compulsory what? So how do you use this then? You can understand more clearly when I show the examples, live examples. When I show, you can understand. Just remember, clr, scr, clear screen. Get ch to get the output window. When you run the program, you get the output window if you use that. If you don't use that, you will not get. Okay, I will show you practically, then you can understand. Next, not only these two header files, there are other header files also which we use in our course later. One such header file is string.h. Other one is math.h. So these are the some of the header files which we use later. String.h we use in strings concept. Math.h for mathematical functions. If you want to use any mathematical functions like square root function, okay, power function, okay, those are present in that math.h library file. If you want to perform any that mathematical calculations, we can use them. So later I will use these two also later. So mostly we use these two every program. If required, we will use them. But these two are mandatory. We should write. Why we should write mandatory means printf compulsory we use. So this should be there. We use any of these compulsory, this should be there. So in every program we will write this one mandatory. Next, in the structure we have void main. What do you have? What is the use of that void main? We will see now. Header files is completed. The next in the structure of the C is void main. So here main is a function. First of all, main is a function. We call it as what? A function. Whatever the code in the C program you are writing, you need to write inside the main function only. Inside the, why? Because when you run the program, the first line which is executed is the main function. The first line the compiler will run, the first line the compiler will execute is the main function. It will not run header files first. Remember, you might write header files first in the code, but the compiler runs the first line is main function. So that is called starting point of the execution. You call it as what? Starting point of the execution. You can call starting point of the execution. Means program execution start always from main function only. Next, each and every statement inside the main function should end with semicolon. Compulsory we need to put semicolon. semicolon after every statement inside the main. If you don't put semicolon, you will get error. Okay. And second thing, what is the use of void there? What is the use of void? Why we should write that void there? Okay. See, this is a main function. That is the main. We are not going from that place to any other place. That is the main place where you are writing every code. So we are not returning, or we are not going to some other option. To indicate that we use void. To indicate that we use. So void means our function does not return any value. Does not return anywhere. If the function is not returning anything, to indicate that, we need to write void. We need to write what? So void indicates that our function is not returning anything. Not returning. So to mention that not returning anything, we need to use void. Next, you can write the same program without writing void also. Without writing void. How? Then instead of void, you need to put int. You need to put what? Int main, flower brackets. Like this also you can write. But if you are using int main, compulsory in the program, return 0 you should write. You should write compulsory what? Then you should write get ch at the end, last. If you don't write this, return 0 in the code at the last, you will get error. You will get error. Instead of writing like this, we can simply write what? Void. We can simply write what? If you write like this, or if you just write void, the meaning is same. The meaning is, so you might see some examples in internet or anywhere, they can use this kind of code. Okay? You can use anything, but better is use void, because if I use void, it indicates that nothing is returning. Nothing is returning. Okay? If the function does not return anything, we should write void. We should write. So this is about the structure of C program in detail. Every line we have seen. Next, okay, what is the software we use to run the program? There are so many softwares available to run C software. The best one is Turbo C++. Turbo C++. By using that, you can run C, C++, both programs you can run. Okay, it is freely available in internet. You can download. Okay, once it is installed, you will get like this shortcut, Turbo C++, like this shortcut you will get. Okay, it's free only. You can download from internet. Or if you want, you can use Borland C++ also. That is also one of the options. Okay, but mostly everyone will use this Turbo C++ only. That is a better compiler. Okay, or you can use Dev C++ also compiler. These are the famous compilers. Among that, Turbo C++ is very famous. Okay, or you can use any online compilers also to run the code. If you don't want to install any software, you can use C compiler online and you can write the program and run and check. Okay, it's up to you. I am using Turbo C++ here. Okay, so in lab also you can find that one and you can practice it, or you can download in your system and you can practice. It's free only. Just type in Google Turbo C++ download, you will get automatically the link. You can download. Installation is also very simple, no special complications. Okay, so better install this because that is very easy to practice. Okay, so by using that you can practice C, C++, both languages in that. Okay, now what are the steps to run a program, or simply we can say how the C program is executed. How the C program is, so how a C program is executed. What are the internal steps it will occur when you are executing the program? Okay, first thing is you need to write the program. First you need to write the program. Okay, the program is written. After writing the program, you need to save. You need to save the program. The shortcut is F2 is a shortcut. I am giving shortcuts related to Turbo C++. Software to software it will change. Okay, I am giving the shortcuts which are related to Turbo C++. If you are using any other software, the shortcut might be changed. Okay, but the steps are common. First you need to write the program, then save the program. When you are saving the program, you need to save in .c format. In which format you need to see? Any file name .c. Example 123 dot like that. Okay. Okay, you have run the you have saved the program. After saving the program, next thing you need to do is you need to compile the code. You need to, what is the meaning of compile the code? Compile the code means checking the program for errors. Checking the program for, if there any errors are there in the program, you need to check. That is called compilation. That is called as, so in Turbo C++, Alt plus F9 is the shortcut to compile the code. After compilation, you will get 123.obj file. That C file will be converted into .obj format. Remember, you will get this obj file only when there is no error. When there is, so you can write like that. So checks the program for errors. Okay. If error, display the error message to the user. If error free, means there is no error, then you will get that obj file. Okay. Now this is compilation. You are converting the .c file into obj file. So .c file will be in high level language, which we can understand. But .obj file will be in low level language, which we cannot understand, which only system can understand. It will be in binary language, zeros and ones, that obj file. Okay. Next, after compilation, okay, there is no error, nothing is there, everything is fine. We need to run the program next. Run the program. So when you run, how you will run? Control plus F9. What is the shortcut to run the program? Control plus. So when you run the program, if you are using getch, remember, if you are using this getch function, when you run the program, you will get output. You will get. If you are not using getch, you will not get output. Remember. Okay. So that is the condition. If you are using getch function, we will get output screen. We will get output screen. If you are not using getch, then Alt plus F5. What you need to press extra? Then only you will get output screen. Then only you will get. This is the important point you need to remember. If you are using getch, direct run, you will get output. If you are not using getch, after running the program, separately you need to press what? Alt F5, then only you will get the output. So when you successfully executed C program, finally this obj file, okay, will be converted into exe file, means executable file. Okay. So 123.c, that is the program. 123.obj file, objective file. 123.exe file. So when you run a successfully compiled C program, these are the files it will be generated. So C is nothing but high level language code. This is entirely in machine code. Executable file is also in machine code only, but executable file means that output will be displayed. Okay. So that is it. There is another file also will be created, that is called BAK file, which will be created automatically by the software. That is called backup file. That is called as what? Whatever the program you are writing in the .c file, it will create a backup of copy of that one. Okay. So these are the 4 files. In that we can see this one and this one. These 2 files we cannot see, but it will be present internally, because these 2 are in low level language, which can be understood only by the system, which the user cannot see. But in back end, those files will be created. Okay. So this is the steps, are the process how the C program gets executed. Okay. So this is the introduction of C. Okay. So today we are seeing introduction of just C language. So tomorrow we'll see the next topic. Okay. So today you install that software and keep it, so that you can, when I am explaining, you can understand. So today we are seeing software, different types of softwares, and C introduction, these things. Everyone send your email IDs in the chat box.